Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Today I wanted to make a video for all of those parents who are planning to send their kids back to school in this pandemic era. I want you to stop and think about what you're doing. As the states have been coming up with all of their stipulations for reopening schools during this pandemic that we are going through, and they are listing all of the different regulations or recommendations that they are going to have in place for these schools, I've seen a lot of parents, thankfully, who are stepping up to the plate and saying, I will not put my child through this. On the other hand, though, I see a lot of parents who are just planning on sending their kids back to school no matter what they have to deal with while they're there. And you know, I really want to get this done. I want to get this out of the way because I think that a lot of parents are not thinking through this. First of all, parents, I want you to think about your memories of school. And let's think about your fondest memories of school. Some of my fondest memories of school are the little parades that we used to have, class parties. When my classmates would have birthdays, they would bring in munchkins or donuts, door decorating contests, field trips. And you know, while school is never something that is always good all the time, I at least had those fond memories from when I was there, those things to look back on and think, yeah. Or even talent shows. You know, I never hear of talent shows anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of parents do have those sorts of memories about school. And so what their kids are going to be facing when they go back, for some reason, just might not be clicking for them. So I want to point this out and I want to make this very clear. For those of you parents who are planning on sending your kids back to school, what your kids are going to be dealing with are very likely masks. A lot of the school districts are saying that teachers must be masked, and they are strongly urging for the students to have to wear masks. Their temperature checks is something else that I've been seeing. I've been seeing that they are going to be doing testing in some school districts for COVID-19, and something troubling that I just saw, I think it was yesterday in an article, is that what they are saying that a better COVID test for children is an anal swab. I don't know if that's the kind that they're planning on using, but keep that in mind. They have COVID testing at some school districts in mind. Now, there's also enforced social distancing. I have been seeing pictures of, I don't know if it was a nursery school or a daycare that has already opened, and these sad little children are sitting on the macadam out in their playground, and they have these little spray painted social distancing circles, and the child is just sitting in the middle of it, and they're not allowed to leave that circle. So much for socialization that people always say happens at school, even though it really never did. But it definitely isn't going to happen now. So, and then on top of that, a lot of schools are saying that they're not even going to have their playground areas open. So those little social distancing circles might not even be out there in those playgrounds because they might not even be allowing their students out there to begin with. But you can bet that those little social distancing circles are going to be in the classrooms, and kids are going to be facing these things all day long. So they are going to be entering a school, likely wearing a mask, having their temperature checked, possibly being tested, not being allowed to get close to their friends. On top of that, they're going to have no gym class, no library, no lunch in the cafeteria, no field trips. So are you getting the picture? Now, and I can't stop to think of what is this doing psychologically to these children as they are having to live in a school situation like this. All right. And so for those of you who are who are thinking, okay, well, I'm just not going to have my child wear a mask. Well, it might not be so easy, because I've been sent screenshots of teacher groups on Facebook that are actually talking about ways to get students to wear masks whose parents don't want them to wear masks. One teacher was actually saying that she was pondering putting all of the kids who are not wearing masks in the back of her classroom. And she was wondering if she would get in trouble for doing that. And immediately I started thinking about the segregation of the 60s. And I'm like, are we going to need a Rosa Parks of the mask movement? And then on top of that, there are other teachers who are suggesting to keep extra masks in the classroom. And that way, if kids come to school without masks, hopefully peer pressure will get them to want to wear masks because they see all of their other friends wearing masks. So hopefully that will help. So usually you have schools telling kids not to cave into peer pressure. But in this case, we have a teacher actually posting that, yeah, she's hoping that peer pressure will then get those kids to wear masks while they're at school. So this isn't something that is going to go away quickly. And need I remind you that that's not the end of it. So beyond the masks, enforced social distancing, temperature checks, COVID testing, no gym, no library, no recess, no field trips. We've already had going for quite a long time now active shooter drills. So now your kids, on top of everything else, are still going to have to go through those active shooter drills. And yeah, we still have these companies out there selling bulletproof backpacks because schools are just not safe anymore. So it isn't just the fact that schools are not safe with shootings or with school violence in that way. Now we have children who are going to be psychologically traumatized by all of the additional stipulations that schools are going to be putting on these kids. And unfortunately, you see parent after parent just saying that, I don't have a choice. I have to send my child back to school. But the thing is that you really do have a choice. Some people have tougher choices than others. Some people really cannot find a good option that they would be able to not send their kids back to that situation. But what I'm going to tell you is that the percentage of parents who really live in that situation is tiny. Most of those parents out there do have a choice. They just don't like the choice. They don't like the other choice. So when it comes down to what choice you're going to make, you have to think about what are you going to sacrifice? Are you going to sacrifice maybe a second job? Are you going to sacrifice having a bigger house with a higher mortgage? Are you going to sacrifice lots of vacations? Are you going to sacrifice material wealth? Or are you going to sacrifice your child? Think about it, please, before you put your kids in this predicament. That's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you might be able to leave one here. Sometimes lately YouTube has been letting me have comments. If not, go over to Instagram. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will leave a link in the description box for that as well. And I hope you have a great day.